peeps, welcome back to Project Anonymous, and in today's video,
we're going to laser engrave pencils.
So let's get to it. So for today's project, we're going to be using our xTool D1 Pro 20-watt diode laser.
And we're going to go ahead and engrave and powder coat some pencils we picked up just for a fun project to personalize.
This will be a relatively simple process, but I think we'll get some cool results.
Let's go. All right, so for today's project, I thought it would be pretty neat. We picked up these cheap carpenter pencils at Harbor Freight, and this is just asking to be engraved. So I think we're going to go ahead and do that. And we might try some powder coat at the end of it to kind of get it to pop like this black on this yellow on this side here. But obviously we're going to use this side here, and we're going to put some engraving on it, see what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and measure our work area here that we want to use. I think if we do like 5 inches, because we're going to have to sharpen quite a bit here. It's like 0.44, perfect. Okay, so I'm here in LightBurn, and the first thing I'm going to do is kind of draw a box to show the work area that I'm going to be in. We measured this out to be 5 inches is how long we want it, and then we 0.44 for our width. And I'm going to put that on the tool path by selecting, making sure that's selected, and selecting this T1. That will kind of be the area that we're going to be working with. Next, I'm going to bring in our little design here, our logo, and I'm going to select that, right click, go to trace image, and I don't need to do any adjustments here. You can see it's all traced out. I'm going to hit OK. And this one, I'm going to make sure is selected. It is. And I'm going to put it on our engraving layer, which will be that layer there. And I'm going to shrink it down to fit. And then if I select Shift and select this, the work area toolpath, to make sure it's centered top to bottom here, I'm gonna go ahead and align it in the center. There you go. So now we want to add Project Anonymous. So I'm gonna hit my text, and I'm gonna select my font. And then I can use our toolpath, hit Shift, select our toolpath so that both of these are selected, and then I can also align that in the center, just like so. Make sure this line is straight. If I select it, you can see that the width is 0, and that means it's perfectly a straight line there. Okay, so now for settings, I've got this kind of laid out how I want it. I'm going to go to my cuts and layers, turn this into a fill because we want it engraved, and then I'm going to assign it some engraving settings. And I'm going to go to my library for that. Real important here before we do that, we want to make sure we're selecting the right machine. Right now I'm selected on my Monport 40-watt CO2 laser, but I think I'm going to use the xTool for this one, really because I have a steel work bed that I can use to lay some magnets down so that we can do kind of this project multiple times, because we have multiple pencils we want to do and we won't have to kind of constantly recenter everything every single time. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to our xTool and move it where I want it to engrave at. And now we have our xTool library, and I'm going to, let's see, these are all cut settings, so it looks like we're going to have to set up some engraving settings. So let's see. Gonna go ahead and change this to 2500 and 25% power. I don't need too much. And then 1 pass, and certainly not 0.02 interval. We'll do 0.1 intervals there. And I think that's it. We'll get this set up. So this is our steel bed that we're going to be engraving on. Of course, we use this steel so that we don't like laser through the wood sublayer that we have here for this drawer. And I'm going to go ahead and use some rare earth magnets to kind of hold the pencil in place, or at least be able to position the pencil in a consistent location so that I can do multiple of this project without having to reset up everything. And what we're doing here is just kind of setting up something that's like a jig that will be able to get us into the same spot, and we can kind of pull it off, put on another one, and the design is going to be perfectly center. So obviously we're going to have to do some work in LightBurn to move our design to the proper location, but this will be pretty nice. Next thing is to get the laser focused. Okay, so when I went to start this engraving, it told me that one of the shapes weren't closed and therefore couldn't be a fill, and that's this line we built. So of course it's a line, so it's not going to be fill. So I just put on another layer to turn it into a line, so at the very end it's just going to draw a little line down here separating these two words. Simple enough, same settings, and I think we're still ready to go. So pretty clean results here. I think a layer of powder coat on this would be pretty cool. First, we're going to laser our next pencil. And this is the beauty. If you're doing more than one, all I have to do now is line this up on the magnets and hit start. Something we completely forgot to do was put some masking tape on top of this so that we don't have to be as careful with our powder coat. But we're gonna try, since this is like painted and very smooth, I'm gonna try to just, if I rub my finger across it, if I can get all of the excess powder coat off, but we'll see. What's great about this black powder coat is it really darkens the engraving and makes a really nice contrast, especially with this yellow pencil. You can see you don't really need a lot of this stuff either. So we're going to use our heat gun to melt this powder coat. Now we have had comments on some of our past videos about, hey, you can put this in an oven to melt the powder coat, and you're absolutely right. You can do that, but we only have our oven that we use for food, and we're not really supposed to melt powder coat and then cook food in there. So heat gun works for us, and we're just going to go ahead and use that. That's interesting. So we got too close to the pencil with the heat gun, and you can see this paint that covers the wood of the pencil does melt and it bubbles up. So we're gonna go ahead and fix that. Much better. So this is a very simple, easy, and repeatable way to market yourself. If you have a business, you could put your logos on there. If you just want to hand out gifts, you could personalize with personal names and contact information, whatever you want. And that's what we really love about using our laser and setting it up for multiple jobs or multiple passes, but certainly is a very cool result.
So I think the powder coat was definitely a really good idea. It added a lot of contrast from the engraving to the pencil, even though the engraving alone was really cool. Again, the one lesson learned we really had from using this is the heat gun can melt the paint, so you have to be careful of that. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like if you liked it.
Like it.
Subscribe if you enjoy our content.
Subscribe.
And turn on notifications to get reminded every single time we post a video. Stay crafty.
And be happy.
Bye.